of eyebrows.
It's a gorgeous building with its own private sculpture garden, a fountain, and lots of space. But there are no workers here, no computers, no phones ringing, nothing. The Securities and Exchange Commission leased nearly 1 million square feet at the Constitution Center building in Washington, D.C. at a cost of $557 million over 10 years. For workers it never hired. That expanded space was in addition to a brand new headquarters near Union Station across town. In a scathing report, the Inspector General of the SEC says the commission grossly overestimated the amount of space needed. Representative Jeff Denham, whose subcommittee oversees public buildings, is equally outraged.
Shocked. I mean, shocked, as we're looking at budget cuts and a huge debt, to find out that there's an agency that could go out during a weekend, find this property, secure the property, sign the lease without any bids or any sign-off. It's an outrage, and it's a waste of money.
July 2010, the SEC signed the lease, assuming it would have to hire about 800 new workers under the new Dodd-Frank Wall Street Reform Act. By October 2010, it was clear Congress, concerned about the deficit, wasn't going to appropriate new funds. January of this year, the SEC Inspector General began investigating why the lease was even signed, and around this November, the first rent check for the property will be due. This building takes up an entire city block, and it has spectacular views. Take a look outside the window. You can see clear across the river to Virginia. The SEC originally leased about 900,000 square feet, but when it said it couldn't use the space, it had to sublease it out to 2 other agencies. Now what's left is about 350,000 square feet of just empty space. In a congressional hearing, the SEC had 2 representatives testify, but neither could explain why basic procedures were not followed.
I'm new to the position. I'm reviewing the current process and trying to fix that process going forward. So I can't speak to past operating practices other than to tell you, as you've seen, they were deeply flawed.
We asked the SEC for an interview, but they declined. The head of the SEC Office of Administrative Services, who signed the lease, is still on the job and still in that position.